We're still at the PDAC in Toronto. My next guest is Eric Coffin, newsletter writer for HRA Advisories. Eric, good to be back with you.
Thank you, Danielle. Thanks for having me.
So how many times have you heard the buzzword cautiously optimistic here?
About every 15 seconds for the last 4 days.
Eric, is that how you are feeling?
I'm probably a little more optimistic than cautious. There's this thing called the PDAC curse that we've all heard of where the juniors in particular tend to have this big pullback after the PDAC, and a lot of people are justifiably worried about that. It is almost an annual event. I would point out, though, that in years where the markets and the juniors are coming out of a bear market, you tend not to get much of one. So I'm hoping this is one of those years where we don't get much of one. The reason why it happens is you get this tsunami of news. Everybody's trying to look good for the PDAC, and there's so many companies there. They're all trying to attract attention. What can we put out a release about that'll get us noticed? So few guys are actually working on anything right now. There really wasn't much of a tsunami this year.
So that's a perfect lead into my next question. Eric, you're known as one of the top stock pickers in the business. What questions do you ask mining company presidents?
But usually before I even go and talk to them, like any of us do, I'll take a look at the company. I like to look at the structure, see where it was financed, get a quick look at the projects. And when I talk to management, I guess to put it in one sentence, I like to be comfortable that they've got a plan and they know how to get from A to B. And there's several aspects to that. Like one, obviously, do they have money? If they don't, how are they going to finance it? When they show me the project, I like to get the feeling that the technical guys understand the model, they know what they're trying to do, and they can explain to me, if we're successful, this is the impact that this amount of spending will have on the project. In other words, if we spend $5 million on drilling and we're right, it will go from 0 to 1 million ounces inferred or something. You've got to have some way to bring the value back and say, how much of a win is there if you do things right? I also like to see a plan B, of course. Either backup projects. A big bank account's a great plan B, because you got to be realistic. It's the exploration business. Most of the time, it doesn't work.
Now, do you have a preference over silver producers, over gold producers, base producers?
I've mainly followed gold and silver producers, but I have to say a couple of the more successful stocks on the list the last couple of years are copper producers. They're just companies we followed until they went into production. I think gold and silver will have a better year than copper this year. Although I have to say, I'm very impressed at how fast the warehouse stocks seem to be depleting on all the base metals. I'm surprised, honestly. So I'm still I'm not sure where that's going. Is it being consumed? Is it going to another warehouse that's not bonded and getting counted? If it is getting consumed, and a couple of smelter guys I talked to here tell me it is, then copper may actually have a better year than I thought it would.
And within the gold and silver producers, do you like the exploration companies? Do you like the majors? Do you like the juniors?
I tend to stick to the junior end. I don't think the world needs another analysis at Goldcorp or Barrick. There's 500 guys that do fantastic jobs at covering them, so I tend to stick to the smaller ones. I'm following a number of companies that are at what I call development level, and that is they've got a resource and they're trying to figure out whether that resource is going to be economic. My first love really is the exploration stories. That's where the leverage is. That's really where the big gains and losses are. It's a double-edged sword, but it's just, I grew up in the mining business, and I've just got a soft spot for guys that are exploring.
But Eric, some analysts were also saying that we're going to see a lot less juniors. Some saying 600 will exit the scene. I kind of heard the same thing last year too. How do you see it?
I don't think they're going to disappear as fast as people think. This is a cynical comment, admittedly, but you have to remember that the exchange is now a publicly listed company, and that listing fees are its top line revenue. So I don't think they're exactly going out of their way to bounce people. I think you may see a couple of hundred disappear in 2 or 3 months. The one expense you can't really slough off, you can't do on credit, you have to pay for is audit fees. Most of these companies have December 31st year end. You've got to file an audit in 5 months. So I think we might see a couple of hundred disappear in April, May, but I'd be surprised if it was more than that. Personally, I'd be happy. I'd be thrilled to see 700 or 800 companies disappear, to be honest. When you look at what the minimal amount of money it takes to keep a junior alive, and you look at 700 or 800 companies that really aren't doing anything, you've basically got $200 or $300 million being consumed that I would much rather see go to the other 400 or 500 companies with good projects and good management. That would be better for everybody.
Good thoughts, Eric. Finally, final thoughts for investors watching. Is there still money to be made in the junior space then?
Oh yeah, no, I think we are coming out of a 3-year bear market. Junior markets, they tend to be, they don't go straight up. It takes some time for them to develop. Normally what will happen is, this year I think is very much like, it reminds me of 2003 actually, is the analogy I would use. 2003 was actually a pretty good year for us, but if you looked at the market overall, you had 100, 150 companies that had some money, decent projects, and were getting a bit of attention. And then you had 700 or 800 or 900 companies that were basically this sea anchor, basically dragging the index and keeping it from really going anywhere. And it wasn't really until 2004, 2005 where things really started to go up like this. I think this is going to be the same way, but if you can focus on those 150 companies, yeah, there's money to be made.
All right, good stuff, Eric. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Daniela.
And thanks for watching our coverage of PDAC in Toronto. We'll have more for you on Kitco.com, or you can email us comments and questions for Eric and other analysts at newsfeedback@kitco.com, or follow me on Twitter at Daniela Cambote. Thanks for watching.